it was outdoors. You know, sunshine, people. You know, when you're in a club, you don't really see people. You see movements, you see shadows, and you know that's all good. But it was a different world outdoors. Like you really got to see people.
Oh, there's endless possibilities. What I'm saying's not bizarre. No, no, we could rise and fly, just you and me. I'm feeling love is where you are.
The outdoor events are family-oriented.
If you bumped into someone at a house party and said, oh, no, I'm sorry, you know, if you would smile, even give her a hug, maybe start dancing together. It was just the energy.
You're like a star.
There's no restriction, you know, race, creed, age, you know, kids can be there, babies can be there, you know what I'm saying? Every grandma and nana, everybody can come.
People in the music scene and house music scene, period, though, that love is a big part of our scene.
Even going into our 7th year, we've had no incidents. And so when people come, they leave different from how they arrived.
The music and dancing is like my therapy. It's really inside of me. It's really connected to how I live my life. Starts out with, again, family and kids, and just turns into just this love fest.
She's like a star, yeah. Oh, yeah. You and me, let's go and make some history. Oh, yeah. Take me up into your world, your galaxy.
Thank you.
You can see all of Hands to the Sky at the end of this month. It'll be screened at a festival called Brooklyn Get Down, which will be held from July 8th to the 31st. And with us now is the event's founder and executive director and one of the producers of the film, Domingo Canate.
Hello.
Welcome to BK Live.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, we're really happy to have you here, brother.
We're really happy. We're both, Aaron and I are both music heads, so this is great. So what's your history with house music, and like, why do you feel the need to refer to it in a cultural sense?
Well, I go back from just listening to music since I was just little small. I didn't have a TV in my bedroom growing up in the 70s, and it was just transistorized radio, and I would tune into to just whatever made me feel good. And music back in the 70s was the best, you know. And then fast forward a little to like when I was 15, I met someone who told me about a disco and if I wanted to go. And being that I was a boy child, a male, I had that freedom with my parents to I guess go out, or maybe sneak out or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I went and didn't know where I was going. It was a disco I know I was going to, but I didn't know what disco or whatever. And it just ended up happening to have been the Paradise Garage.
There you go.
At 15 years old. So that was quite an experience, and that place changed my life, and met my girlfriend at the time, met her there, and they would fly down, her and her friends would fly down from Boston when they can get a ticket on a plane for $40 on Piedmont. It doesn't exist anymore. But I ended up moving to Boston, and by that account, we met the owner of the garage in a club in Boston. And I told Paula, I said, hey, what do you think about having a bus ride from Boston to the garage? And she was like, let's do it. And when we finally organized the whole thing with the garage and getting the bus, we sold tickets out in 1 week.
There you go.
And we left Boston around 9 o'clock or so, got to New York about maybe close to 1, and they held up the line. The line was already around the corner because that's how the garage was. It's like the most
And
time.
what year was this? By what year was this?
This was 70. I mean, this was 86.
86.
Yeah,
So this is
the year
mid-80s.
before. Yeah, before the year, a year before the club closed. The time, if I recollect correctly. So we partied from the time we got there around 1 o'clock, and we departed back to Boston at 9 in the morning.
Exactly. And for some people, it's probably the first time I've ever even probably been to New York, let
Yes.
alone the opportunity to party all night to house music.
Yes.
Now, I'm originally from Baltimore, so I was brought up in club music. But can you tell us a
love
little
Baltimore.
bit? And Baltimore loves you. And so, transitioning to house was just a really sort of natural thing. It's the beat. But, so many times, it's like when I was growing up, I would hear that music on the radio, and like somewhere in the 90s or early 2000s, house music sort of stopped being played on like the major airwaves and sort of became more of an underground kind of music. Am I correct in that thinking? Or?
Yeah, to a degree, because there was dance music, period, and before there was disco, there was up-tempo R&B that you would hear on the radio on a regular. Like back then, it was just a regular thing, and then disco came into the picture, and that was also a regular thing on the radio. Donna Summer's the queen of disco, and then came like this whole crash of like we hate disco thing out of Chicago, and then that's when the house music, the boys on the underground in the basements of the house with drum machines started making this music called house, which of course it was coined house out of Chicago through Frankie Knuckles being the godfather of house and playing in a place called the Warehouse, and that's kind of like where that house name was coined. But me personally, being a New Yorker, I feel that we invented house.
We did.
Yeah, we just didn't call it house. We called it club music. Because Jersey and New York were like, and even Baltimore was like, it was a club music. But I give it up to Chicago. They took it, made it theirs, like how hip hop is ours per se, and what it is today. So it's great. We got nothing but love for any entity that loves house music, especially the soulful and deep house music.
Well, speaking of that love, spreading love the Brooklyn way, can you tell us a little bit about the Brooklyn Get Down?
Well, the Brooklyn Get Down all came about because of the film Hands to the Sky. Hands to the Sky documentary is basically the story of the uplifting and spirited experience of the outdoor house music movement, where we covered New York, of course, all the pockets of the house music scene in New York, whether it be Coney Island, Fort Greene Park, Uptown in Sunday Sermon.
Yes. Sunday Sermon.
That's DJ Storm and Norman. And then we also ventured out. We captured Newark, New Jersey, because much love to them. They're also integral part of the house scene, and also with the club that used to be there, Zanzibar, which when we just kind of like wanted to change, we would go to Zanzibar sometimes, and the great Tony Humphrey, in those days. And so it kind of derived, and its foundation and inspiration was from the Hands to the Sky. And so we knew that at some point we wanted to take the Hands to the Sky and make it a music festival, and that's when I came up with the name, the Brooklyn Get Down. And we were able to at the time partner up with Restoration Plaza, with the cultural and arts department, and partner up with them. But unfortunately, there was just differences of opinion, and we're no longer doing that with them.
So right now you have a secret location, soon to be announced, and where can people go to find out where the festival will be this year?
Well, we get word from the Green Beach folks, Green Beach out by Coney, and we're in negotiations, so it's like no longer a secret.
Okay, cool.
So we'll find out today whether we'll be out there, and whether or not we'll be out there, and we're hoping,
I was out at Soul Summit yesterday, out at Fort Greene Park, and BP Adams had an opportunity to come out and say something. I don't know if you were there, but he was talking about the house music community, and he was saying that in this tumultuous times that we live in, here in America that is essential for the house music community to sort of come together and continue to throw these parties and to throw these outdoor events to bring people together in unity. And it was such a beautiful thing because there's so many people out there. And, you know, he was saying that at these events, you know, people come together and there's never any problems. It's a sense of community. People get a chance to, you know, not only dance, but to meet their neighbors and different things like that. You know, with that kind of support from state government or from city government, how does it sort of make your job easier in bringing these people together? Because it's not very many places in the United States where events like this happen.
Yeah, I think that events like this should be plentiful, you know, everywhere.
All the time.
And it should be also like an experience where, you know, it places like other parts of the United States, other cities should take what we've done, you know, out of New York, out of Chicago, in terms of the chosen few, because how do you get 30,000 people in one place? And Chicago, unfortunately, does not have a good reputation with peaceful things and stuff. And that place is like, why aren't they taking that element and seeing that when all these people can get together and there's never been one incident in 20 years that they've been holding the chosen few, then that needs to spread, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like what I said in a publication that we were interviewed like 3-4 days ago with DNA, and you know, the interview kind of just spells out that, you know, this is what people need across the board, you know? It's
funny you say that because in the documentary you talk about like it being a spiritual experience, kind of call it an ancestral, you know, call and everything.
Oh, absolutely.
And so what do you want people to walk away from the festivals with?
Well, people that are not familiar with the scene, when they get that chance to actually be exposed to something like this, what I'd like them to walk away with, but what I can see, besides what I like, I can see just by looking at them, the smile and the warmth and just the uplifting of watching these people commune and dance and having such a joyous time that you can tell it affected them, you know, to some degree, and it affected them in a positive way. Like you could probably tell that they would like to come back to it.
It's funny because it's like reminiscent. Like I go and it's like my college days. It's like, and I'm, you know, my son is like, but it's like, what is going on here? But it's like it's reminiscent, and, and everybody wants to remember.
And you're saying your son's like, all he has to do is hear that right song, right track, and he's got him.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Exactly. That's all it is, and that's another thing that should happen is that unfortunately with the music, some of the music of today, it's always kind of like shoved down your throat, you know, on the radio, and it's not the best lyrically contented music. And house music is whether it's instrumental, whether it has lyrics, it's always about usually things of peace, love, unity, and strength, and uplifting music, and that's what we're missing in the world today. Music like that. So folks don't like just so much chaos. And
so the Brooklyn Get Down, we are going to get together and we're going to dance and be joyous and commune. So how can people find you on the interweb so they can tune in to make sure they find out where to go?
Well, BrooklyNGetDown.com, as simple as that. It's BrooklyNGetDown.com, or they can always go to the site where the documentary is, and that's HandsToTheSkyMovie.com.
Awesome.
Say it one more time. HandsToTheSkyMovie.com.
HandsToTheSkyMovie.com. Thank you so much.
We also want to thank all the DJs, all the dancers, all the promoters, all the elders, all the children that come out time and time again to dance with us.
Absolutely.
From New York to LA to Atlanta, right?
And around the world.
All right.
It's a movement.
Thank you.
Thank you.